today's Buckeye Roast, we start with a national recap of Week 1, breaking down the biggest results across the country. Then, we make the case for why Ohio State should be ranked number 1 after their opening statement win over Texas. We'll share our film rewatch notes, highlight our MVPs from the tape, and hand out winners and losers from the first week of college football. And finally, how important was this win for the playoff picture? I'm Chris Drew, and this is the Buckeye Roast with Ron and Q, right here on Dead Air Sports. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are back for another episode of the Buckeye Roast. It's your boy Ron James here with my guy QP Ski. Q, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I just finished watching the destruction of Bill Belichick in North Carolina, but other than that, it's been good games all weekend. So it's been a fun weekend, man. I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. I have a stat of the day for you, Q.
What is the stat?
It's actually not a stat of the day. It's just a number. The number is 3. Any idea what that 3 stands for?
No, not at all.
The 3 straight episodes that we've had over 50 likes. That's why you don't see the big smash that like banner on the screen. And we are no longer calling Q smash that like. We had over 150 likes on the last episode. Can't thank you guys enough for all of the support. The subscribers are through the roof, the likes are through the roof, the comments are through the roof. We're doing our best to reply to all of those. There's so many of them. If we replied to all of them at the beginning of the show, that would be the entire show. We should have super chats and members here soon, and a couple more announcements of things that we're going to have on the channel. But just wanted to thank you guys for all of the support that we've seen over the past couple days. The numbers are absolutely through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, now this side looks so empty. I need to borrow a couple of those icons. Like, can I get Spotify and Twitter over here?
Should we throw the OnlyFans logo under you?
Yeah, just give me some random ones. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, find me on LinkedIn, OnlyFans, all of those places. Q, we got an action-packed show yesterday. We had a ton of national news to get to, and I don't think we discussed it at all. But again, a giant shout out to all the subscribers and viewers around here, all the support. We can't thank you enough. Be sure to smash that like button. Without your guys' support, we wouldn't be able to see the growth that we are seeing right now. So a big thank you to you guys. And Q, let's just get right into it.
All right, man, play the music. Let's get it.
Q, we opened the show with it yesterday. Your Florida State Seminoles, your adopted team ever since you started the Mike Norvell fan club 2 years ago, right before he decided to go 2-10 and make you look like an absolute fool. But he redeemed you with a huge win over a top-ranked Alabama team, not top-ranked for long. Q, your thoughts coming off of that game? You've had a little bit of time to digest the biggest upset of the weekend. How are you feeling after Mike Norvell completely redeems himself?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like his plan didn't work in his second season of bringing a lot of transfers, kind of redoing his roster. But, I mean, this time he got it right. I mean, I was greatly looking forward to what, Grubb and Alabama were going to do. And it looked like, DeBoer in the second year, like, they were just beat at every point of the game. It was like they were out physicaled. You saw it in the line of scrimmage. Florida State was able to run the ball. Like, defensively, they were flying around. Like, it truly looks like the Florida State we've come to know under Mike Norvell, at least by his first season. So, yeah, it looks like they're truly back. And, like, you look at the way they played, you look at the way Miami played, and Notre Dame maybe was a little bit disappointing, but we know they're a good team. Like, we know that by the end of the season, they're going to be formidable. So that's a good win for Miami. And it looks like with them, I mean, Clemson takes a loss, but it's the top 10 LSU. Like, the ACC looks to be actually playing a little ball this season. I'm interested to see if these teams can hold it. Now, we know the ACC, somebody will go and they'll lose to Duke, and it'll be like, oh, okay, we're back to earth here. But Man, Florida State was greatly impressive. I'm like, man, I did not expect Alabama to get manhandled like that. And I know I talk a lot of trash because I got to back my guy Mike Norvell, but they were really impressive from quarterback to defense, to guys. I mean, it was like that home crowd was jumping. It was just amazing game. Probably my favorite. I know, spoiler, my favorite game of the weekend.
Yeah, one of my favorite games of the weekend going into the weekend was Miami Notre Dame, and you talked about the ACC and how impressive they looked. Miami adds to that with an impressive win over Notre Dame. I had a hot take. I was talking to our guy Darnell, and I said, I think the ACC could mess around and get 3 teams into the playoffs, given the way Florida State looked, Miami, and Clemson. Clemson kept it close against LSU, a team that I would not count out, a team that I still think has the potential to win the ACC, but Miami's going to have something to say about that. They come out there and look like a much more physical team than we saw in years past. I had the prediction before CJ Carr was named the quarterback. I was riding heavy with Notre Dame based on the inability to tackle by that Miami team last year, and I thought Jeremiah Love would run all through that defense, but Miami's defensive line showed up and they had something to prove, and they look like one of the best fronts in the nation. And it seems like they are winning in spite of Mario just trying to be Mario. Like, this Miami team is just so damn talented, and it feels like they're right on the doorstep of being a team in contention, but Mario just like always finds a way to get in his own way.
Yeah, I mean, coming off the game, I think I saw a little bit of the Notre Dame I expected, and I saw a little bit of the Miami I expected. I mean, they got off to a really good start there, and obviously they were physical, like you said, inside. Their defensive line was really good. I think Notre Dame kind of warmed up into the game, and that's why you saw them able to rush at the end. But man, I talked about it yesterday. Malachi Tony was an absolute problem for that Notre Dame defense. I'm like, bro, who did they have on? You're like Christian Gray. I'm like, oh, well, okay, he's just that good apparently. Because I'm like, man, he was absolutely out there balling out. So I'm very interested to see. I'd say watching Florida State and Miami, I probably come a little bit more impressed by Florida State, though you thought Notre Dame was the best team of the 4 that were playing in those games. But I would say Miami looks solid. A little bit of shakiness, but I mean, they definitely have some stuff to build on. So let's see. The biggest thing for Miami and Florida State's done it before, but it's being consistent. Can they continue to put that performance week in, week out? Because like I said, we can look up and they got Florida coming up. We can look up in a couple of weeks and be like, oh, like it was just a home opener. You know, they call lightning in a bottle, and they're not the same team.
Well, just a home opener, Q. If you weren't familiar, they don't play a game outside of the state of Florida until November. So, I mean, they may have a couple road games, but they're not really leaving the state. An incredible schedule that the Hurricanes have. A team that, I mean, last year you saw them start the year 9-0. You saw them have the number 1 quarterback in the draft. Quarterback play hasn't been the issue. Starting early hasn't been the issue. It's Mario not getting in his way before the end of the year. And it's, have they learned from their mistakes from last year? Are they going to kneel the ball? Are they going to not lose to Cal McCord? He's in the NFL now, so they should be safe there. I watched Syracuse play this weekend. Put some respect on Kyle's name. Steve Angeli did not look like Cal McCord, even though he was in an offense that allowed a quarterback last year to throw the ball 60-plus times a game. So, this Miami team, cautiously optimistic is the way I would put it.
We'll see. I mean, I've seen teams outplay Miami the last couple of years, despite being less talented. So, I feel like they outplayed Notre Dame in this first game. Let's see if they can continue that. Because again, as much as they've been on the doorstep the other way. It felt like there's 2 doors. They could fall either way. Like they deserve to lose 5 games, or they deserve to only lose 1. So, you know, we will see. But I mean, it's good because, you know, when Miami and Florida State are good, college football is better. You say that a bunch of teams like USC as well. But so we'll
when
see.
college football is the best, Q.
When Ohio State's on top.
That's fucking right. That's right. When the Buckeyes are on top, man, it feels great to be a Buckeye. College football feels amazing. I was talking to Chris. I was like, man, it's so much more fun making content when our fans are happy, because when they're miserable and we got to wake up and talk to them and then know how miserable they're going to be in the comments. Like, to see the comments run up with excited Buckeye fans that are excited to talk about a team that could potentially repeat, it feels great. But I did want to stick with the ACC and talk about a former Buckeye. Devin Brown loses the job at Cal. Q, can you say the Cal quarterback's name?
I cannot. I think they just called him by his initials in the game, but I cannot say his name. So I'm gonna leave that one to you.
I can't say it either. I believe his initials are the screen is loading here. I'm gonna guess here. I think they are KDS.
Yeah, it
No,
was something like that.
JKS. I was close.
JKS. I knew it was a
JKS.
J.
Drawn Kiwe Saga Patule. That's my best shot. He
We're gonna
beats
go with
out Devin
JKS.
Brown for the starting job at Cal. I thought we were going to be able to have a ACC after dark type of experience when we get to watch Devin Brown at 10 o'clock at night. Well, not your time out there in Arizona, but out here on the East Coast. I thought that Devin Brown would be the late night game for Buckeye fans to follow along with all season out there at Cal, and he loses the job. And my biggest fear was that he was going to lose the job to this guy, and he was going to go out there and stink it up, and people go, man, I told you that Devin Brown wasn't this, Devin Brown wasn't that. But JKS goes out there and balls out 20 of 30, 234 yards and 3 touchdowns in his debut as a true freshman. And you just have to feel bad for Devin Brown. I mean, clearly he lost out on the job fair and square, but man, what an unfortunate circumstance. When he committed to Cal, JKS wasn't even there yet, and then things don't go right at Oregon, and he transfers to Cal and ends up winning the job, and Devin Brown loses his 3rd straight quarterback battle, and Cal goes out there and gets the job done. I mean, at least the dream is still alive, because if they went out there and put out someone that stinks, you'd have to just give up on the Devin Brown dream.
Yeah. I mean, no, the kid actually went out there and balled out, and that was everybody's timeline. As soon as he loses the battle, he lost to a freshman. He's terrible, and it's like, well, this kid's just pretty good. We watched him play, alone as Oregon State of the rebuilding Pac-2. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he played well. I watched his highlights. Throw the ball, his deep ball, man. It looks really, really good. So he was really impressive. Like I said, with those stats, I mean, he balled out. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, again, there's really no limit to your college career. So Devin Brown could spin the block elsewhere, because it seems like guys are playing fucking 10 seasons these days. So.
I think that's over, Q. The pandemic was almost half a decade ago.
Yeah, but I know guys in their 8th season, so maybe he'll get another shot. Hopefully, it's only his 4th year, but yeah, we'll see here. So, but yeah, feel bad for Devin Brown, but was it JKS? There we go,
JKS. There you go.
You heard it here first. He went out there and balled out, so he did look greatly impressive.
I wanted to again stay in the ACC. Clemson loses to LSU in a close one. Did you catch any of that game, Q?
Yeah, I was actually one of the games I was watching at the bar on Saturday.
Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, man, it was well, first of all, Brian Kelly didn't go out there and give up 100 points. So that was that was confidence building. I mean, I thought it was a solid game. It felt like, again, a little bit of shades of Ohio State and Texas, where 2 teams were kind of filling each other out, most definitely. But I thought both quarterbacks played decently. I wasn't greatly impressed by either of them.
Both of these quarterbacks came into the season with exceptionally high expectations. Cade Klubnik, 19 of 38, 230 yards, 0 touchdowns, and an interception, a QBR of 31.4. Garrett Nussmeier, 28 of 38, 230 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Were you disappointed by the performance of both these guys, or do you think it's just a testament of these 2 defenses?
Well, I mean, those defenses were flying around a bit, so I thought they were solid on defense. I didn't expect them to come out and light the world on fire. And I know Cade Klubnik has had this kind of banner hanging over his head of like he's supposed to be the next Heisman, or definitely got the preseason hype. But I wanted to see what he can do, because still we've seen him work through some things with I was about to call him Lincoln Riley, with Garrett Riley over at OC. So I'd say maybe a little bit disappointed, but it did feel like a top 10 matchup. I mean, this game was close all the way through. LSU finally played some defense, got some signature stops, so I wasn't disappointed. Again, it's very hard early in the season to really judge these guys when their first game is a top 10 matchup. Like, let's see them get some games under their belt. But I would say LSU definitely did impress me, and I called it a quote unquote trap game for Clemson because I'm like, LSU's coming in. They've had no defense for years, so you don't know what to expect. And they came and they took care of business. So I guess if you want to label that as a trap game like I did, it was a trap, but because I expected Clemson to come out with the win, but LSU
Not
impressed.
a trap game. Hashtag not a trap game.
Hashtag still trap. But no, man, I think Klubnik and Nussmeier down the line are going to play a lot better. But in the first game, get your jitters out, man.
Yeah, get the jitters out. You see LSU get a big win. I mean, they were on some crazy losing streak as far as losing the first game of the season. So glad that they were able to shake that bad juju there. Were you impressed with the Clemson receivers? That they end up losing? None of them get on the board. Bryant Wesco with 66 yards, TJ Moore with 55, Tyler Brown with 43. One of the wide receiver cores that have been mentioned in the offseason in contention with being as good as the Buckeyes. Were you impressed with those guys? They look pretty twitched up out there, but they didn't really do much.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of production. So that may be credit to LSU's defensive backs, which they are known for. So
because they really can't lean on the excuse like with Ohio State, like, oh, we're breaking in a new quarterback, we're playing the number one team in the country, we're playing conservative. Like Garrett Nussmeier, it's a returning starter.
Oh yeah, no.
I mean not Garrett Nussmeier. I'm sorry, Cade Klubnik.
Yeah, Cade Klubnik. Yeah, no. I mean, you expected them to be probably a little more impressive than they were. I mean, those guys are definitely athletic, like Wesco. I've watched a lot of highlights of him, especially from last season. So, yeah, I expected them to be a little more impressive. But again, we don't know what this LSU defense brings. We could come and find out week 5. Like these guys are just really locking people up. So maybe it's a sign of that. But I did expect them to come out and be a little bit more dominant. Like I'm very impressed with LSU defense. Not giving up a lot of points on the road, like that's a big time win for them, especially because it could have been a track meet. Sometimes used to LSU playing, so I'm impressed by them. So I'd say I'd probably give the Clemson wide receivers a C-. I thought they would be a little bit better, but I didn't think they were terrible.
C-, damn. Q's like, oh well, I'm grading the fact that they lost too, so.
A little C-. They could have been a little more. You gotta get in the end zone, man.
I wanted to talk about another wide receiver. I don't know what the hell is going on with my lighting right now. I wanted to talk about another wide receiver. Not another wide receiver. I wanted to talk about another transfer quarterback in Jackson Arnold at Auburn. When I first looked at his stats before I flipped on the game, I saw his passing stats. I'm like, oh. No touchdowns. And then I looked at the rushing stats, and I'm like, oh, my God. He's out here really scooting. 16 carries, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. You saw the confidence out there. He goes out and gets a big win. I talked about this being a potential trap game. Are you a believer in the Jackson Arnold redemption at Auburn?
No, not yet. They absolutely did ball out at Baylor. Definitely. Yeah, I looked at his rushing stats. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, does he get his first name from Lamar? he was out there running, most definitely. So it was an impressive game for Auburn. I mean, we talked about Auburn all in the preseason, 4 different coordinators or 4 different plays. Definitely had a lot of quarterbacks going around. But Jackson Arnold, he played solidly. I mean, I love to see what he does later in the season. I'm not on the bandwagon yet with Auburn because they have been questionable, but a good win against Baylor. Like you said, you called it a trap game. They went in there, they took care of business in a time where you're like, Hugh Freeze might be teetering here. I mean, I know they're bringing in some guys trying to rebuild, but it hasn't looked good. They looked a little bit better. So I was impressive for that win on the road.
Yeah, an impressive start, especially them questioning his mental. They're talking about during the offseason, Hugh Freeze having to tell the defense to take it easy on him to protect his confidence. And people are like, oh man, if you're still worried about his confidence at this point in time, is he going to make it? And does he go out there and ball out, especially with all the pressure and all of the doubters? I heard a lot of national pundits say that they felt like Jackson Arnold unfairly was the scapegoat last year for all of their issues when he was maybe part of the issue, but not the entire issue. So good to see him have a little bit of redemption. And it's going to be fun to watch that story this year at Auburn. And man, could he have a special moment in the Iron Bowl, given the way that Alabama looks? It may not be the greatest Alabama team, but man, it's still a rivalry game. And if he were to go in there and ball out, I think Auburn fans would remember him forever.
Yeah, well, they certainly can't stop the QB run at Alabama. So,
There?
huh?
No, I was just making sure you're there. I think you're behind.
Oh, no, I heard you. I said, all right, quick technical difficulty, but we're back. So I was saying, yeah, Alabama can't seem to stop the quarterback run. So Jackson Arnold might go in there and go for 200 if they're going to play defense like that.
Yeah, I mean, he already went for 137. 200 ain't far off. That's going to be a game to keep your eye on. Another game that I had my eye on was the debut of, let Michigan fans tell you, the chosen one. Q, did you check out any of Bryce Underwood?
I saw some highlights from Bryce Underwood. I mean, he looked pretty impressive for a freshman. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they didn't play anybody, but got Oklahoma next week. I've been a big proponent of Michigan's gonna get the win versus Oklahoma, get that Big Ten over SEC win. So, I mean, like I said, I think Michigan's gonna be pretty good this season. I think Bryce Underwood definitely wants to get some games under his belt
this season. I think Bryce Underwood showed enough that Ryan Day is going to have to earn his win against Michigan, given the talent that Bryce Underwood is. You saw what Justice Haynes was able to do early on. These next couple of years with Bryce Underwood at Michigan, they're not going to be easy wins for Ohio State, and I feel like that puts that much more pressure on Ryan Day as far as to get this monkey off his back, because it feels like Michigan's not going anywhere. Like, this is something that they are going to have to deal with and overcome on a annual basis. The years of just Michigan being a doormat and presumed win. I mean, we're almost five years into the decade of the Buckeyes not beating this team up north. Like, I think if Buckeye fans are still thinking that this game is just going to be something that just goes into a automatic win category, I think those days are, regardless of the success that this program is having. The idea that Michigan is going to be a rollover game, I just don't think it's happening anymore, especially given the talent level that they're recruiting at. I was impressed with some of the talent that I saw out there. Still doesn't really have anyone to throw to, but impressive arm strength and an impressive athlete. I've always been a fan of Justice Haynes, so it stinks that, I thought that Bryce Underwood was going to be a really good prospect. Seems to be one. And then I've always been a believer in Justice Haynes. Jordan Marshall looks to be like a solid back there too. It's going to be interesting to see how this Michigan team performs this year.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the way it should be. I mean, you never really felt like Michigan was a doormat. Like Urban Meyer was out there getting tough wins and then playing pretty solid teams. And Jim Harbaugh obviously turned up the program. I mean, you say it's a Connor Stallions effect, but they were a really good ball club over the last few years. And like you said, with the talent level they're recruiting, I mean, we knew what Bryce Underwood was. That's why I think I said on our last show, I was like, when he was supposed to go to LSU, I was like, there's no way Michigan can let him out the state, especially with having no quarterback. There's no way you can let him out the state and let him go to LSU. They paid whatever they paid for him, but they had to get him, and they did. And obviously, it's paying dividends early, because you talk about they're winning games without a quarterback. So it's interesting to see here, but I thought Bryce Underwood and, like you said, Justice Haynes was another guy who went out there and he absolutely balled out. So now he's there too. So it's going to look crazy in November, but can't we do the way Matt Patricia is looking? I'm feeling pretty comfortable right now.
Yeah, another quarterback that I wanted to talk about is DJ Lagway. Florida goes out there and absolutely pummels LIU. DJ Lagway, 15 of 18 for 3 touchdowns. Our guy, SFE alum Tramel Jones, earns the backup job at Florida, goes 12 of 18, adds 2 more touchdowns. Vernell Brown, another SFE alum, has potentially the catch of the week. If you haven't seen that highlight, be sure to go check that out. Hello?
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, it feels like we're recording in a cave right now. Look at Q. His picture's not even loading. I'm lagging out. I don't know who has a UAV jammer outside of my house, but we are having the worst technical difficulties with this episode. I was mentioning Vernell Brown having potentially the catch of the year in that game. Then did I mention Tramell Jones winning the backup job?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Tramell Jones wins the backup job. You look at this Florida team and you see all the talent in the world at the quarterback position. They're loaded at the wide receiver position. You know, they rush for over 200 yards in this game. They have a gauntlet of a schedule. Last year, they had the hardest schedule in college football. I mean, given some of the performances that we've seen in the SEC, might not be as difficult as advertised. We'll get into that later. But this Florida team could make a run, and they looked impressive. Like I said on yesterday's episode, I text a friend of the show, and I said, could Julian Sayin be the best quarterback by the end of the year? And the response was no, because DJ Lagway exists.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Lagway for going on 2 years now. No, he's been greatly impressive. It really sets that matchup between Miami and Florida. That's going to be a big one, man. Can Lagway get the win, or is Miami really rolling? So that's one that I'm circling now that I'm really interested to see, because Florida looks the part. They look to be much better this season. And then, like I said, we saw what Miami was able to do against Notre Dame. So that's the next one on the Florida schools who don't travel. I'm looking to see what that matchup looks like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the state that you want to play football in if you want to play home games. Florida is definitely the place to be. I just wanted to – I feel like I've taken a shot at this kid like 3 different times now, and it's not fair because his fans did this, not him. And I just wanted to note that Decorian Moore is not Jeremiah Smith. That's really all I have. It's literally the only takeaway I have from that Oregon game.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot. He did have a really impressive block, so he did see that. That was hit the timeline. I went to Twitter. Now let me see what Decorian Moore did, and most things I saw was the block that he had. So yeah, I mean, who really is? That's what his fans were saying. Oregon, they swore by it, but no, I think he's gonna have a good season, man. I'm interested to see what Oregon does, but I think Decorian Moore will be fine. But yeah, no one has to be Jeremiah Smith because there's only one of them.
Fair point. No one's JJ, but don't compare him to JJ. That's the easiest way to avoid this controversy. Don't bring up JJ's name, especially for a kid that you've never seen play before.
Yeah, but gotta have to ask about your guy Dante Moore out there in Oregon. What did you think week 1? We got to talk about it.
Keeping the narratives alive, man. The number 1 overall player in the 2023 Ron 3 rankings goes out there and looks the part. Like I said, it's like that meme where you're looking at 2 buttons sweating, like I don't know which one to press. And like I'm constantly teetering between I want Dante Moore to win the Heisman so I can do a victory lap, and I'd like to see Oregon go 6-6. If somehow I could press both of those at the same time, I'd take it.
No defense out there in Oregon. You heard it here first.
Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech. That was the thriller at Colorado. We had that on the trap game list. Haynes King has to, I mean, it felt like they were going to have to take him out of there on a stretcher. That kid goes out there and leaves it all out on the field every game. One of the more exciting games that I feel like we watched in week 1.
Yeah, I mean, Haynes King at this point has to be one of the staples in college football. Like, I feel like he's the new Cam Rising of like, how long is he going to play at Georgia Tech? He's been here forever. But the kid, he just wins, man. He comes out and finds a way to win. Colorado team, much talked about this summer, is we didn't know if Deion was going to be back. I mean, felt like with Georgia Tech rolling into town, we don't know how good these teams will be, but he had his team pretty ready to play. Like I was looking forward. I was like, okay, Deion's got this team competent. It was a really good game, obviously, to open the college football season. So Haynes King would a touchdown run with a minute left, a little bit of a thriller down there. He called it a bit of a trap game. Well, they were able to survive.
Down there for who?
Huh?
I said down there for who?
What do you mean down there for who?
Well, you're in Arizona. Georgia is south of Colorado.
Oh, okay, come
down
on, man.
where?
Down in Colorado,
down
man.
for who? Down in Colorado for who? Relative to who? I guess down there in little old Colorado from Ohio, I guess.
Down doesn't necessarily mean south. It just means over there.
Okay. Just checking. I am
Down
like
there in Canada.
I'm like having the day from hell. My lighting is just like going in and out. Our internet is going in and out. Apologies. That's all I can say. We got one more thing national to talk about before we wrap it up. But if you have still tuned in through all of these technical difficulties, no, I'm not editing it out. It's 2 a.m. It's staying in there. If you stuck around for all of it, please smash that like button. We appreciate all the support. Make sure that you run it up. We had a goal of 50 likes. We have went over 100 likes on every video that's come out on the channel since Saturday. So that is going to be the new goal, or Q's going to have to shave his head. So we're going to keep it at the goal at 100 likes. And if we don't start getting 100 likes, if we go 3 straight videos without 100 likes, Q's going to bick his head. No, that's not a good incentive. Then they're going to stop liking the video. If we get 1,000 likes on the next 3 videos, Q will bick his head for the show. I think that's fair, Q. I don't think we're hitting 1,000.
Yeah. Nor am I shaving my head, so neither of those is happening. But yeah, man. Like I said, make sure you like that video. We've been doing impressive stuff lately. I want to ask you, Ron. We talked about it a little bit earlier. What was your favorite? Because we don't know yours, but what was your favorite game this weekend?
My favorite game this weekend. I mean, obviously, my favorite game was the Buckeye game. But if I had to pick another game that I watched, I would have to go with that Georgia Tech Colorado game. I think Haynes King is one of the most exciting players in college football. And like, he's exciting for all the best reasons in college football, because you don't know if he's going to throw a touchdown pass, get stretchered off the field, run for a touchdown, or throw it right to the other team. It is such a wild card every time Haynes King snaps the ball. I think he's easily the most exciting player to watch in college football right now.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't know if he was on Chris's preseason list, but he loves Georgia Tech, so he's got him in there somewhere, even if he didn't mention him. So yeah, I thought Haynes King is always fun to watch. I'm just mad they don't play Miami this year. I need a back like Miami win, and that's the only thing that could make the season sweeter. But no. He definitely balled out. Like I said, if you need a win, that guy will do anything to get it done.
Our last national topic of the day before we get into the cover story, and that's the defensive menace that Matt Patricia is and the terror that he is about to be on college football. His mentor had a debut, Q. That's your guy. You have a nickname for him. What do you call him?
Oh, Big Bill.
I don't know how you got that nickname for him, but the floor is yours.
Yeah, so it started out great. It drove down, scored, lights were blaring, Jordan was in the crowd. You got to see all the celebs. Unfortunately, that was about the end of that. And then, you look up and it's 41-7, and half the crowd has gone to drink. They're on their last day of break before school starts tomorrow. So yeah, they're just I don't know where the talent level is at UNC. They have so many new players. It was 70 new players.
48 to 14. Oh, I thought you were talking about the
score. They had 70 new players on the roster. I believe it was 40 transfers.
They need 70 new more, because that team is ass. Capital ASS. Like, I don't even know where to start. If I'm Bill Belichick, I'm quitting. I'm sorry. I'm not even going back. Is this where was this game? Was it at North Carolina?
At home. It was at home.
I'm getting car service from the stadium. I'm not even going back to the locker room with my team. Me and Jordan are getting in the car service, and I'm going back to my lake house in New England, and I'm never going back to the Carolinas. Peace out. You can have my son as the interim head coach for the rest of the year, and then fire his ass. Keep the buyout money. I'm out of here. Ain't no way I'm gonna be out here looking a fool.
Well, it's only week one. I'm sure they will practice and adjust, man. I mean, Bill Belichick's one of the best coaches that we've seen, given it was at the
But
pro
someone
level.
made the point, we ain't never seen Bill Belichick coach against a team where they were better at every single position, and he's about to do that like 7 times this year.
Yeah. I mean, he will. So let's see. I mean, obviously, going to take time to get more players in the building, but we'll see what he does. The advantage Bill Belichick is supposed to have, like Matt Patricia, he's an NFL mind. He's supposed to be able to look at these college offenses and defenses and be like, oh well, we had the scheme for like talent and get the advantage in the NFL, but we have such a schematical advantage that even without the same amount of talent. And it's the ACC, so not everyone's loaded walking around. We just talked about a couple teams, but really those are the only ones that I feel like they can outsmart teams and get wins. So TCU wasn't going for that, which I don't know how good TCU is going to be this year, but it'll be interesting to watch. I still have an eye on UNC because I think if they've been terrible, but if they manage to squeeze out 7-8 wins this season, you're like, okay, all right, we got something here. When we get some talent in the building, it'll be a little more impressive. And also, you got Michael Jordan sitting over there, the billionaire himself. Be like, yo, hey, Mike, look, dog, throw me a couple of bucks. Drop another Jordan 11. Like, we need some players. So,
Have you seen UNC basketball? They need to figure that out before they worry about paying the football team. I think Michael Jordan got bigger fish to fry. But yeah, man, North Carolina, an absolute mess. Q, I wanted to pivot and talk about the Buckeyes. We haven't done that. We've been talking about college football as a whole for 30 minutes now, and I'm excited to finally talk about the Buckeyes. Q, the AP poll comes out today. It's past midnight, so it is actually today. The AP poll comes out today. ESPN, I don't know if they're trying to drive clicks. I don't know if they're trying to push the SEC narrative. I don't know if they're just trying to ruin my holiday. They put out articles, and they're already starting to spin the narrative that LSU had a better win, therefore they should be number one.
Interesting.
Explain that logic to me. How does that work? Even if it is a road game, why should they jump how many spots?
8?
8 spots to the number one. Like, if you thought so highly of LSU and Clemson, why wasn't Clemson the number 2 team in the country?
Or why didn't you rank LSU higher in the preseason poll?
And then they go, and their argument is, well, Texas was vastly overrated. By who?
Yeah.
Y'all told me Arch Manning was God himself.
Well, I mean, clearly, one, we know Texas has 2 really good coordinators. 2, we know Texas has a lot of talent. Ohio State just went out there and they outplayed them. They simply did. They played smart. They didn't turn the ball over. Texas did. They played good ball. Obviously, they kept it close to the vest because they were just trying to get the win. And obviously, people have been gushing over his Matt Patricia defense all weekend, from every show on ESPN to every show on Fox to every internet personality. And that just tells you schematically, Ohio State had the talent. So, I mean, it's a solid win. Texas came in and Ohio State really dominated that game. Like, the scoreboard doesn't show it, but Texas really had nothing for them for most of the game besides a stout run defense. So, I mean, I'd say there's no way I've never seen a team hop from 9 to 1. The only way I could do that if it's LSU played Texas and they just beat them by 100. Literally,
no,
100.
Beating the number 1 team doesn't matter. That Texas isn't that good.
That's what I'm saying. If they played Texas, they won 100-0. I'd be like, all right, they might be the best team in the nation. Like, clearly they blew them out, but they didn't. They played Clemson and got a close win on the road. So I can't give you any good reason why LSU should jump, Ohio State, unless it's, maybe the AP voters can. Maybe ask them. We need to get them on the show.
Maybe they shouldn't jump 8 spots, but I have to ask you, Q, do you feel like that was the better win?
No, I don't feel like it was the better win. I feel like Clemson, like Texas, like Ohio State, they're riding off a lot of offseason hype. They were a little less impressive. They weren't bad. They were a little less impressive, like you said. We talked about Cade Klubnik, and we're like, it was decent. He wasn't like we didn't see nothing to say like, this kid is gonna win the Heisman, or from the Clemson wide receivers, like, all right, but they weren't great. So it's an impressive win, but it wasn't the most impressive win. I mean, we know what the most impressive win of the weekend was, and it involved neither of those teams.
Did Did the Buckeyes, while they had the most impressive win, do you feel like they looked like the best team in the country? I know they're all semantics, but I feel like they're all slightly different questions that could all possibly have different answers, unless the answer to this question is the Buckeyes are the best team in the country. Given the limited amount of football that you observed this weekend, do you feel like the Buckeyes look like the best team in the country on Saturday?
I would say a couple things. One, they look like the most. I mean, if you value Texas, you would say yes. You feel like that defense that we saw on Saturday. We know how good Sark is because he's been good for a long ass time, both coordinating and running offenses. That defense was vastly impressive. They're by far the most impressive defense we saw on Saturday, the way they were able to shut Arch and Texas down. Now you look on the offensive side of the ball and you say, hey, the wide receivers didn't quite get off like you thought they would, or the running attack wasn't where you thought it would be. But you also look out there and you say, well, they have Jeremiah Smith, and we know what he is. Like they have Carnell Tate, and you know what he is. You know what Max Clare is, and you feel like Julian's saying the guy who's you probably least valued coming into the game had a very solid game. So you would say, okay, given any other Saturday, these guys should be able to go ball out. So I would say, given the potential of the offense and the way the defense played, you would say, yeah, they're the most impressive team in the country because you know Jeremiah Smith isn't going to be able to get held down every week and literally held down, but pun intended. But yeah, you would say then like, yeah, that's the most impressive team, and I don't think anybody would play Ohio State on neutral field right now and be the favorite.
I agree with you there. I don't think that I would pick any team in the country to be a favorite over the Buckeyes right now. I don't think I'm ready to declare them the best team in the country. But man, it's hard not to jump the gun given what was put on film on Saturday. I didn't see any team that looked like a juggernaut in the sport, or any one particular player or team that I was like, man, I really don't want to see them. Honestly, when you're watching college football, Miami looks like one of the most impressive teams in the country. You're like,
down a year.
Looking like a light year.
That's a nice shot. But no, I mean, I agree. I mean, again, we're still parodying college football. I mean, you still have the same teams when you look at Georgia. Defense greatly impressive. They got Zachariah Branch now, but I mean, they haven't got a test yet. I mean, look at Notre Dame. Wasn't quite what we thought they would be. We thought they'd probably come out and be world beaters, and Miami gave them more than they could handle. So I mean, I would say you look at Ohio State and you're like, okay, they're back in prime position. Maybe with a Georgia, maybe insert LSU here of those teams. And you would say, hey, like they're right at the top, and it is very hard to predict anyone to beat them. And again, college football still seems wide open. We don't know what Michigan is yet. We'll find out in a week. But, you know, out of all these teams, it feels like there's no dominant piece in college football, and it's going to be the team with the best coaching that finds a way to go get wins.
Yeah, the Buckeyes are going to have a big matchup against the former coaching foe in Jim Knowles at Penn State. Q, do you anticipate this matchup being 1 versus 2?
I do. I don't see Ohio State losing any games till then, and I don't see Penn State losing any games till then. So I feel like
so you have them over Oregon. They play Oregon week 5.
Yeah, I think Jim Knowles is gonna do a job against Oregon. Like I expect their defense to be up and running by then. I know Penn State didn't blow me out the water, but we know what they are. I expect Penn State to play good ball, be undefeated, beat Oregon. I think Oregon will be down a little bit this season. I mean, hopefully Dante Moore balls out and they go 6-6. But yeah, I expect that to be an undefeated matchup, top 2 in the nation, and again another team rolling into Columbus.
Q, I wanted to ask you, we've been talking about the rankings and the potential for LSU to jump Ohio State. What is the agenda by ESPN here? Like, are they trying to justify their rankings? Are they trying to prop up their media product in the SEC? But it felt like in years past that they would try to do it discreetly. But it is so out in the open anymore that they are just banging the SEC drum week in and week out. Like, at any point, did they show any sign of shame this season?
No, like you said, it is their property. That's where they have their money invested. I mean, them jumping to number 1. You would think they beat the Eagles on Saturday. Like you thought they went out and beat a pro team. Like we've never seen. Like I don't think there's any time in the history of college football, unless it's like before the TV era, where a team has jumped like 8 spots well up there without everybody in front of them losing just getting dismantled, which did not happen. So, yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, again, Paul Finebaum still took no accountability of what happens and just says, "Oh, I was lied to." No, you lied to us. Address it. But yeah, I mean, definitely, you know what it is with ESPN. They're gonna try to claim that win and push LSU as far as they can, because you look at the SEC with Texas being down. We know Georgia is probably going to be classic Georgia, probably a really good defense, a somewhat shaky offense. Is what they're probably going to be. If I had to take a guess by watching a little bit of them week one, again, they played nobody, but yeah, so there's not a lot of people. Alabama getting blown out. There's not a lot of people for SEC talking heads to hang their hats on. So it's really like, well, shit, I hope LSU can play some defense consistently this season, because it's really now them and Georgia is all we got.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC seems like they're down bad right now. And man, would it be hilarious if they only got 3 teams into the playoffs. Right now, I'm high on Texas. I like that Florida team. I'm interested to see what they do. LSU still has a lot ahead of them. And did I mention Georgia?
No.
Those are my 3 or 4 teams that I believe in the SEC. I'd be surprised if they get more than 3 in, especially given the schedules that they have this year. A lot of crossover play between some of the top teams. So it wouldn't be surprised if the SEC is crying again at the end of the season if they only end up with 3 teams in.
No, I mean, they will, because they feel like they should have 5. Like, they'll definitely cry, because even 4 is not enough. So it'll be interesting to break down. Again, we gotta. It's hard to judge these teams by just one weekend, but if you take week 1 as all the value that we have, yeah, I mean, it looks like there's really not. I mean, Ohio State looked dominant, but again, it's only a 7-point win, so they still got a ways to go. But there's no teams that just be like, oh man, I feel like we could never beat them, or I don't want to see them. Everybody feels like, man, we could go on the road and beat anybody. We can play them at home and beat anybody. So parity in college football, but yeah, I see them trying to push that narrative. We'll see what the SEC teams look like when they start to play each other.
Absolutely. Q, I wanted to pivot and talk about someone that everybody in college football should be in fear of. I had the opportunity to watch the All-22 film of the Ohio State-Texas matchup, and man, was Matt Patricia out there dealing. He has to be the most feared name in college football right now based on what he put on film and the way that he was able to have this Buckeye defense prepared for Arch Manning, the concepts that he was able to show, the disguises. Steve Sarkisian came out and talked about how well the Buckeyes were able to disguise their coverages. They were able to get pressure with 4. They were able to simulate pressures. They were able to show all kinds of different fronts. Q, you had a chance to watch the All-22 as well. I know you don't watch much football on Saturday, but you do a good job of catching up on the film. What were some of your takeaways based on your rewatch of the game?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing for me is just the different defensive fronts. I mean, the way he changed with sub packages, and he just brought in like guys like CJ Hicks. He went from 3-down lineman to 4-down lineman to 2-down lineman. I mean, you saw 3 linebacker sets. Like, it was hard to understand who was rushing, who was going to drop in coverage. I mean, everyone talks about, and I don't know if it's the actual name of it, but the coffee house stunt of Arvell Reese, where that name came from. I would love to know where you calling that from. But for Arch Manning starting in his really his first big time game, it was rough out there. It's hard to see. I saw, and I think this was an ESPN breakdown of the defense just turning like an absolute clock, and it was like everyone went and filled in their last spot, and it was like everybody rotate, and it's like it's very hard to tell who's going to be open, where the targets are, where the pressures are coming from. It was tough for him. So I would say Matt Patricia went out there, and it looked like an NFL defense. I mean, Jalen McClain on one play, I remember him looking like he's almost in blitzing position, coming down to safety. He just sprints and goes to deep safety and covers back. And it's like, man, I hate to be playing quarterback against Ohio State next week, because it's like, what are these guys going to do? Who's rushing? And I got absolute freak shows that might just show up. Caleb Downs in the blitz game, Arvell Reese in the blitz game. I mean, Matt Patricia was vastly impressive. And like we said, these guys haven't had their names called yet, but he's got a lot of pros out there.
Yeah, I mean, the way that he was able to mix it up on the defensive line, we saw so many different combinations. We saw the second string defensive tackles get in. We saw 3 DN fronts. We've seen 4 DN fronts. We saw 4 stand-up rusher fronts. We watched them have 4 stand-up rushers and drop 8 into coverage. The amount of looks that they were able to show out there was impressive. And the other thing that really stood out with those fronts is the amount of different places that they felt comfortable lining Arvell Reese up. You saw him come up. You saw him coming off the edge. You saw him lined up over top of guards. You saw him blitzing from both sides of the defensive line. You saw him do so many different things. And the fact that they're already in week 1 feels so comfortable moving him around. And another guy that you saw move around, not a guy, a group that you saw move around were the safeties. And I felt like one of the reasons why you saw so much of Jalen McClain is their confidence in him to play all 3 safety positions, because you watch those guys line up in all different spots. You saw Lorenzo Styles at deep safety. You saw him at nickel, and the foot speed on all 3 of those guys is what really stood out to me. The way that Caleb Downs, Jalen McClain, and Lorenzo Styles were really able to fly around out there. It felt like they were moving at a different pace. You saw a lot of Texas fans making slow jokes about Ohio State, and I'm like, slow where? It didn't look slow when Lorenzo Styles was flying down, smacking the hell out of you. It didn't look slow when they were disguising coverages and flying from one spot to another out there. I mean, this idea that this Buckeye team doesn't have foot speed, I mean, I don't know what game people are watching, and if that's what their takeaway was from the TV copy, they need to get a copy of all 22 and see what really happened out there, because that Buckeye defense was absolutely flying. I put out a tweet during the week that said, Jalen McClain, that's the tweet, because I felt like there was nothing more to say. He just went out there and absolutely balled. My biggest takeaway watching this film is, man, I don't know what to be more excited about, what Matt Patricia is able to do with this defense, or what these guys look like with more experience. You still, while we talked about these guys having playing time, we haven't watched them get the full allotment of reps. What do these guys look like when they have the opportunity to play 6-7 games and have all of those game reps under them? How much more comfortable does Matt Patricia feel dialing it up with these guys? And they said the biggest advantage of being able to flip these guys around is their ability to play multiple positions and do it at a high level. And the Buckeyes proved an ability to do it in week 1. And I feel like the sky's the limit with this defense. And offensive coordinators, after the performance that you see someone with the last name Manning and a guy with the play calling pedigree and Steve Sarkisian get put in an absolute blender by Matt Patricia, a guy that people laughed at the hire and wrote him off as an unserious candidate to be the defensive coordinator, despite the amount of Super Bowl rings on his hand. And he goes out there and reminds people there's a reason why Bill Belichick trusted him to run his defense.
No, absolutely. No, definitely. And we haven't been watching all 22 forever. I mean, we've been watching Ohio State forever, but I've never seen a defense like this ran at Ohio State. I mean, as much as a fan I was of the Jeff Hafley defense, he did not have that level of athletes running out here. Yes, he did have Chase Young, and that defensive line was absolutely crazy. But you look at linebacker and go to safety, and you're like, I mean, he had some dudes, but I don't think he had these level of athletes running around. So that impressed, number one. Number two, the trust in the players. We talked about Peyton Pierce, Jalen McClain. Arvell Reese is able to move around because they have trust in so many other guys. They like, we can absolutely unleash him. And also Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs was all over the place. And why? Because Lorenzo Styles, we know he was an A+ athlete. Was he an A+ DB? Maybe not, but he's working his way up and was greatly impressive on Saturday. And Jalen McClain, we talked about him and Malik Hartford and their buzz throughout camp. I mean, he earned every bit of recognition he got. He was an absolute dude on Saturday. So when you have that, last season, it was like Caleb Downs was lined up next to Lathan Ransom, and he was like, I know Lathan has his covered, so I'm able to do more in the game and get more involved. I mean, it feels like there's a ton of guys that he has trusted now to where it's like, these are my two probably most disruptive players in Arvell Reese and Caleb Downs, and I can do whatever I want with them because I trust the secondary. I mean, Igbinosun and Jermaine Matthews, you can leave them out one-on-one and trust that they win their battles.
You can absolutely see on that film that Iggy has taken a leap, man.
Yeah. I mean, he was greatly impressive. I mean, it was hard. So much talk about the corners. It's like this duo is going to be up for one of the best in the nation. But it's just the trust in other players. And again, this defensive line replacing 4 starters is with Texas coming to town. It's scary. It's like we got a question last week of like, what is this defensive line good at? And are they good in the stretch game? Are they good in the run game? And it's like, we don't know. We really haven't seen them. We don't know what Matt P is going to do. Absolute monsters on Saturday, and they got blocked a couple times, but they were dudes on Saturday. So it's just crazy. Matt Patricia getting all this credit, but it's like, you said it. This defense is young. Arvell Reese is he's a sophomore age. It really hasn't played a ton of snaps, especially going down the stretch of last season. Jalen McClain got some snaps last season, but you think about where he's going to be at the end of the year. Jermaine Mowry's going to talk about him for seasons. This is his first time starting. How much better is he going to be by mid to end season? So a lot of guys really haven't got snaps in the entire defensive line. A lot of guys really haven't got snaps. So how much better they're able to be by the end of the year, it's going to be absolutely scary. And like I said, you feel like with his defense, it's just like, okay, we got Texas coming to town. Let me just make sure everybody knows what they're doing so we don't have any giant holes and give up big plays. How more complicated it's going to get for offensive coordinators down the stretch when these guys are like, okay, like I really get it now and I understand it to a T. It's going to be crazy what he's going to be able to do.
You look at the last champions in college football. You have back-to-back championships by Georgia. The team up north gets it done, and then Ohio State wins it last year. What do all 3 of those teams have in common, Q?
Absolute game-wrecking defenses.
Well, that and the fact that all of them had NFL coordinators on their staff. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator for that Georgia back-to-back championship. You have Jesse Minter running the defense for the team up north, and then Chip Kelly calling the offense for the Buckeyes last year. And the Buckeyes go out there and continue a trend of going out and getting NFL guys to come in and help this team. And they go out and get Matt Patricia. And if I'm an offensive coordinator in college football right now with championship aspirations, I'm not sleeping well, knowing that guy's out there lurking with Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, and the rest of the Ohio State band of 5 stars and blue chippers. Like, I can't imagine many teams around the nation watched the Buckeyes defense this week and said, I'd like to play them.
Shit, I mean, not even just him. There was a ton of talent that came to Columbus Saturday to see his top 3 matchup.
Over 100 recruits.
If I'm a blue chip recruit sitting in the crowd and I see the way these guys were balling out on defense, I'm like, I can play here. I like to do that. Like you're telling me you're gonna take it, because what was the narrative of Ohio State? We had these freak athletes, Baron Browning. We talked about CJ Hicks for years, just these plus athletes, and we're like, we're really not getting the most out of these guys. Matt Patricia, even with Jim Knowles with his solid defense, we're like, our best athletes, a lot of them are sitting on the bench, and we're not getting the most out of them because they just may not be able to do everything right, but they can do a couple things right. Matt Patricia said, who's the biggest freaks on this defense? Okay, I'm gonna make sure they are in the game, they are involved, and they are absolutely close to the ball and absolutely game wrecked. So just that unlocking of an Ohio State defense with the talent you talked about, it's like, man, like I'm very interested to see where this defense goes, because I really haven't seen this at Ohio State. I've seen excellent, great players, but all over the field.
And we still haven't even seen other people that they're going to eventually work into this. Like no defensive snaps from Riley Pettijohn yet. We haven't seen much of Zion Grady or Epi Satonale. Neither one of those guys have had the opportunity to get on the field. Jarquez Carter, holy crap. Jarquez Carter. Oh my.
Jarquez Carter. You're gonna make me do it.
See, I can't even say, bro. It's almost 2 in the morning.
I got you.
You got me. You got me there. And he got in the game, one of the few freshmen to play. But the fact that this defense is buzzing around the way it is and was able to, how much did we hear about, bro? They used to talk about Jim Knowles' defense and CJ Hicks learning it like it was the theory of relativity. Like it was the most difficult concept. Like he was out there developing nuclear weapons or something. Like I don't understand how Matt Patricia was able to come in and install such complex concepts that it had Steve Steve Sarkisian and Arch Manning struggling in week 1, yet it took forever to implement Jim Knowles' defense that we couldn't play CJ Hicks. I just don't get it, man. It just hats off to Matt Patricia and what he's been able to do so far with the Buckeyes. And man, I can't wait to see what this defense evolves into, especially with the fact that we haven't even seen all the weapons at his disposal.
Yeah, and just real quick, you talk about CJ Hicks. I thought he had a really impressive game on Saturday. I mean, in the run game, the goal line stop, he had a really great play where he came off the edge and tackled the guy almost going across the goal line in the middle of the defense. And obviously, the twitch coming off the pass rush, he had the one play at the end of the game, but you feel like he's another guy who, while he's relatively an older player, he's young when it comes to playing time. Like, his game is going to get a lot better as he gets game minutes. And he got around 20 snaps. I think it was like 19 or 20 snaps on Saturday. So yeah, you feel like you have so many guys running around. Malik Hartford, a guy who didn't play on Saturday, but we know what Malik Hartford is, especially in the run game. He's going to come up and lay the wood like a lot of guys were doing. Like, you feel like that's just another piece to the puzzle. And Devin Sanchez gets 11 snaps. You feel like by season's mark, if he's playing 11 against Texas, he's going to get a ton of reps and just be added to that arsenal of corners that we have. So Matt Patricia has a ton to play with. Riley Pettijohn's the next guy I want to see out there, especially what they talked about him as a blitzer, as coming off of edge rusher and another linebacker. Like, I could just insert like a year older Riley Pettijohn here for Arvell Reese whenever he goes to the pros, and it feels like, okay, we got another one. Then people are going to get to know his name very soon. So yeah, man, I am super excited to where Steven's going to go. And people, like I said, all week, if you were gushing about Matt Patricia, we did it all yesterday. So can't wait to talk about it more, but it was greatly impressive.
Absolutely. Did you have an MVP from the rewatch based on someone different than your initial MVP during the film copy?
Man, I mean, I would have to say Jalen McClain was probably the guy that impressed me most, and just I watched Jalen McClain highlights before the game, and I was like, he's more impressive in the run game than I remember. He was vastly impressive when you look at the all 22 film. And I tried to purposely go because I knew I could watch Caleb Downs all day. I knew how impressive he was going to be. We talked about Arvell Reese all week, and I was like, who did I not get to watch? And he was the one who stood out for me. Definitely him, and then just defensive line. I won't take another one, so I'll let you get another pick. But yeah, McClain was vastly impressive.
Yeah, Jalen McClain was going to be my pick. Another guy that stood out, and I mean, everybody's going to feel like, oh man, that's the lazy pick. You've been talking about this kid for 3 years since you picked up a microphone, but in the limited snaps, and he didn't have the highest PFF grade, CJ Hicks continued to flash. And if he is able to put it together by the end of the season where he is able to play more and more snaps in that rotation, is Caden Curry, another guy that I feel like almost became forgotten about, and Bo Atkinson, the hype around the transfer kind of dampened the hype around Caden Curry, but man, he was flying around out there, and I think he played a good game. But CJ Hicks, if that's a guy that they're able to find a way to get on the field and playing at a consistent level, I think that really adds something to this defense.
Yeah, I mean, you had two good shouts there. I mean, Bo Atkinson thought he had a solid game on Saturday, but you can just tell with Caden Curry and CJ Hicks, like, those two guys were almost dominant in their athleticism. Caden Curry was very impressive. I mean, that's a great shout. He was really good. I mean, you could just tell it, like, the difference between a guy that played at UNC a couple of years and the guys who went straight to Ohio State, because their athleticism, it just flashed. So, I mean, I would expect next week's snaps to go up. And like I said, we'll get Jason Moore back. I'm very interested to see what he looks like as far as the backup defensive tackles. I thought they were okay. Tyrone Malone had a couple okay plays. Will Smith Jr. had some too. But I want to see what Jason Moore looks like in this defense. But you feel like you better bring it, because snaps are willing to get taken up out there. And as many guys that looked impressive on Saturday, it's like, if I'm starting a defense in, I'm like, man, I better do something, because we got guys coming in. We got 4 linebackers on the field. We got guys lined up at edge. Man, I need to get my snaps. So guys are going to make the most of their time, and that's the crazy part. The competition for snaps on this defense is hefty with the amount of guys that played Saturday and the amount of guys that looked impressive.
Yeah, man, it's definitely encouraging. Unless you're an opponent of the Buckeyes, then I'd be terrified.
Unless you're Grambling State, you're like, shit.
Q, I wanted to get to winners and losers of week 1 before we get out of here. I believe both of us anticipate that we will watch the offensive all 22 tonight or tomorrow and talk about that on tomorrow's show. So we will get to the offensive side of the ball tomorrow. If you are still in here watching, make sure you smash that like button. We still got one more segment before we get out of here. We have been doing absolutely insane numbers, and we can't thank you enough for the support that we've seen on this channel. Make sure you smash that like button. It's helping us in propelling the show forward. So we can't thank you guys enough. Q, you want to start positive or negative?
We'll start positive because negative will be a little more fun.
Alrighty, we have 4 of these winners in the notes. Did you have individual ones, or are we splitting these ones up?
We can split these ones up because I
okay. Let's keep these 4. I will take 2 and 4. So I will let you go first with 1 and 3.
All right. Well,
actually, I'll let you take 1. I'll let you take 1 and 2. I'll take 3 and 4.
Okay, fair enough. You're the national guy. All right. I will go first, and I'll give you 1 second. Got to talk Mike Norvell, man. Major winner on Saturday. We talked about it on the last couple shows. I mean, Florida State. I'm very interested to see what they do this season. They were vastly impressive. Definitely that offense looks different. I mean, what's their quarterback?
Castellano. I know you didn't know his name because you called him the quarterback on yesterday's show, and I let it ride. But the fact that you've come back again for a second episode and still don't know the name of the quarterback of the team you allegedly love, I had to call it out.
I can't look. You can say Jarquez Carter. I can't say Castellano.
I don't have his jersey. I don't claim to be a stan.
Oh man, no, that
offense. I can't. It's cooked for me. I can't say it. He's about to be JC, bro. The new JC.
Everyone has a
clearly the most famous JC that there is.
Of course. But Mike Norvell, definitely the first winner on Saturday. Very impressive. It is to see how the season goes for them.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how their season goes. I am going to go with Jackson Arnold. We talked about him a little bit earlier in the show, and just given all of the crap that was heaped on him during the offseason and the doubts and questions of his mental toughness to go on the road, a game that I declared a trap game, I thought it was impressive. It didn't go crazy as far as the passing numbers, but just to show the grit that he was able to go out there and lead his team after the season that he had last year, I gave him a winner of week 1.
There you go. I greatly agree. Other one too. I mean, probably the biggest winner of the college football weekend was Matt Patricia. Everybody's talking about him. If you type his name in on Twitter, you'll have a billion posts pop up. Definitely with his defense, obviously the way coming out, and I can't believe this dude was just sitting on his couch. Like I can't believe he was just out there, at this lake house, just hanging out. No,
he was getting skinny. He wasn't just sitting; he was working out.
Yeah, so I'm like, I can't believe he did not have a job. Shoot, I mean, that tells me I better be on my game at work because they let him just sit on the couch for 3 months. I'm greatly expendable. So
they should fire me for my health if I'm going to drop weight like that.
But yeah, he was the biggest winner in college football on Saturday. Greatly impressive defense.
My second winner of the week is Josh Heupel. I mean, you go out there and see the way Nico looks. Tennessee finds a way to get the win over Tennessee. Yeah. They win 40 or Tennessee gets the win over Syracuse 45-26. They let Nico go. Nico looks like crap at UCLA. The fact that they were able to go out there and get the win and not look like a fool with Nico going and balling out at UCLA. I think Josh Heupel is a winner given that Nico didn't go ball out.
No, I mean, definitely that Tennessee offense looked really impressive. And you feel like Syracuse with Fran Brown, I mean, they're no slouch, man. I mean, they fought hard in the game, so I'll give them credit, but you feel like that team's not just a walkover. Like that's not a 4 in was it 4-8 team? I'm trying to remember. We have so many games now in college football. I'm like, they're not a 4-16 team. Like we've got too many games. But yeah, you feel like that's going to be a solid middle of the pack team, at least in the ACC. So yeah, big credit to Josh Heupel. Good shout.
Yeah, a big credit to Josh Heupel. Now to the losers of the weekend. I am going to take numbers. I've already taken one in mentioning Nico. I will leave 1 and 5 for you, and I'm going to go with 2 and 3. So I'll let you start with number 1.
Well, fair enough. Number one's definitely got to be Alabama. I mean, from the meme of the guy flicking the camera off to Twitter, man, I couldn't wait to get on the Alabama football Twitter and just see the crash out. And we were sending memes back and forth because they were absolutely delicious on Saturday. They were so fun to watch. Why you
The show's getting late.
It's a meme.
Describing memes is delicious. Do you eat memes?
Yes, I ate up all the Alabama content on Saturday because I couldn't get away from it. It's an absolute crash out. I was sitting my old roommate. He's an Alabama fan because he's from there. I was just shooting him text. He was like, "Man, let me pull my saving plate out again because I missed the old days."
Definitely got to start
so
praying to the Saban plate.
It was a lot of fun, but yeah, that team did not look good. So Alabama, man, how long does the board make it if they can't turn it around? Like this Alabama
He might not
now.
make it out of October after looking at that Alabama schedule, something that I'm sure we'll revisit on one of these slower days coming up. But the future for Alabama looks spooky. I wanted to move on. Might be the biggest losers of the weekend, and it's not just one. I'm giving it out to a whole family. The entire Manning family was a loser this past weekend. My favorite edit was the edit of Eli and Peyton reacting to an interception on the Manning cast,
camp.
and they overplayed it over the what are you doing? And when Arch Manning short arms and throws an interception to Jeremiah. Jermaine Matthews, Q. It's 2 a.m. I'm dying over here. I can't remember names. I can't say Jarquez Carter.
You got it.
Did I do it? There we go. Locking in.
Yeah.
Locking in. I got to go back to work in a couple hours. So your boy's figuring it out. My long weekend is over, and I got to lock back in for the work week. So I'm getting it back together. But the Manning family, one of my biggest sets of losers week 1, based on Arch Manning going out there and soiling the family name.
There you go. Yeah, Arch was definitely a public enemy. Probably public enemy number 2 behind Bama this weekend.
I'm going to just follow mine back up again because here's my next loser of the week. Someone who decided to ride the Manning family's coattails all off season and Paul Finebaum and his big Dumbo ears. As a guy who has big ears, man, Paul Finebaum's make mine look normal size. He goes out there and just lies and lies and lies and then just acts like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. I said Arch Manning was the number 1 overall pick. I was wrong. And you know who he blamed for him being wrong about Arch Manning?
Vegas or the media?
He blamed Vegas. He is the media, Q.
Texas can blame Sark. Man, yeah, he talked about Vegas, Vegas. Man, Paul Finebaum, man. I just don't understand like credibility level. Just to say what he said before and I talked about it, it's just audacious. Like they're going to play Ohio State. If they blow Ohio State out, I'll come out after the game and be like, man, this dude might be the best we've seen since Tebow. But
Q, you have to be first. Who cares? It's all about being first, not right.
Yeah, you're right. And also Marv didn't do any route work this offseason. It just worked on his strength. It goes right down with that one. So yeah, Paul Finebaum, probably the biggest loser in the weekend. We'll follow that up with a guy I did not expect to be on this list, man. I want to come out and be like, hey, the greatest coach shows you why he's been the best for a long time. But obviously, Sonny Dykes was a better coach than Bill Belichick today or yesterday from where the show is going. Yeah, North Carolina absolutely got destroyed by TCU, got put on the hub in the worst way. So we will see if Big Bill can turn it around there, but not a great showing for a game I was really looking forward to. I mean, I remember how good that Colorado TCU game was to open college football last year, and I was like, man, this is really fun. Or was it 2 years ago? Sorry, not last year. 2 years
better
ago,
coach than Bill Belichick? Heard it here first.
So, yeah, man. Bill Belichick, big loser first weekend, but like I said, we'll see if he can turn it around in North Carolina. I'm not giving up on him yet, but first weekend, big loser.
Big loser, and it makes you ask the question. It's always been, what's the reason for the Patriots' success? Brady or Belichick? And it's looking like the answer was Patricia.
He's the biggest winner of the weekend. He probably calling coach. It'll be all right, man. You'll turn around down there. I got faith in you.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Matt Patricia has an analyst position for old Big Bill after he gets fired at UNC or mysteriously resigns.
We'll have the whole Patriots staff as analysts eventually. Just collecting them like Infinity Stones. We got Boyer, we got Patricia. Just keep it coming.
Ryan is a New England guy. But Q, that's all I have for the show today, man. We went a little bit long today. Appreciate everybody that stuck around throughout the entire show. Make sure you smash that like button. Our numbers have been going crazy thanks to you guys. You guys have been running it up in the comments section. We appreciate that too, and we'll be getting to all of those comments. Aren't going to have them up on the screen because we are going to have super chats here in just a couple days, but we will be responding to every comment. So if you have a question, if you like something, if you didn't like something, he was getting cooked in the comments. I'm not gonna lie. I spared him. Putting it on the screen. Someone was mad. So if you're mad at something that Q said, make sure you let us know in the comments. Q, if yelling at you in the comments isn't sufficient and they would like to contact you and direct their hate in a more personal way, where can they find you?
If you personally want to tweet at me, you could do so at CityBoyQuittin on Twitter. I am not hard to find, man, and Flynet Johnson on Instagram. But if you have a problem with what I say, I am here Monday through Friday on Dead Air Sports. First, hit that like button, then feel free to complain in the comments. I will answer and respond back to you because I love to hate. I thrive on villainy. That's just the sole reason I'm around. So, but if you want to talk to a more likable guy, and my guy co-host Ron James here. Ron,
oh, you know me, just a ray of sunshine over here. If you want to find me, you can find me right here on Dead Air Sports at 8 a.m. right here with my guy, you, for the Buckeye Roast every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. talking all things Buckeyes and college football. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter. That's my name is on 2 T's on there. That's at 2 T's, 2_TEES. But man, do I need to get to bed. I don't remember my name. I don't remember how to say Jarquez Carter. Yeah, there we go. Look at me learning out here. But man, what a great show. Plenty to talk about going forward, man. The Buckeyes are 1-0, and it feels great to be a Buckeye fan right now, especially looking at all these other teams that are struggling. Alabama dynasty is officially over. Ryan Day is the new Nick Saban. I didn't say you did. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button. Q, you know how this thing ends. It's always go Bucks. And of course, OH.
IO.
Yeah.
Example, when things get hard in life, you just keep swinging as hard as you can to fight. That's our culture.
I promised you we had a plan. Remember that we talked about a plan? The plan was infallible. Part of that infallible plan is getting a team prepared, ready to go, so we start practice. Our coaches know what we got. And there's not one person in America I trusted more than Coach Mick and that staff. Think about this. 130 teams either today they report or they've already reported. 130. 16 weeks from now, there's going to be one champion. One champion in our conference, one champion on the side of our conference. And in the country, one team's going to do this. Not 36, not 48, not 44, one. That tells you how hard it is to be a champion. To do right all the time. To know your assignments. To have 11 guys play hard on every staff. That's hard. That's why there's one. I want a hungry team. I want a hungry team. I want a team that can't wait to get out there. Where there's a bunch of players that maybe, whenever you have a new coaching staff, you haven't played much, maybe you're trying to make a name for yourself, you're a hungry football player. I want a hungry team. And last one, most importantly, I've got to coach a few of them. I want an angry team. I want a pissed off football team. I want a team that has a little chip on their shoulder. Maybe something's been taken from you. Maybe something hasn't. Maybe something's been taken from you. Are you a team that's going to go get it? You're the Ohio State Buckeyes. You got an angry staff. You got a bunch of guys that are getting ready to start a journey. We're starting that journey tomorrow at 5 a.m. You're a hungry football team, and I'm proud to be your coach. There's a plan in place, right?